Welcome back to the Build Show. Hey, how'd you know it was... How'd you know I was going to say that, Roy? It's kind of weird, you know? Reading my mind. How's everybody doing on this fine Monday night? Oh, it's last stream build. Yes, pretty much. Except we're just continuing where we left off, which is, you know, the motherboard was bad, and now we have the new motherboard here. We can actually finish the build. So we're going to do that. So the new motherboard did arrive today. As well, I checked it. It is a brand new board. Yay! What's up, Mikey Mike? Welcome back to the Build Show. Roy, welcome back to the Build Show. John, welcome back to the Build Show. Mike, over on YouTube as well. Welcome back to the Build Show. Robert Tabazicki, welcome back to the Build Show. Robert. Sorry, I keep using your last name. I'm just reading from YouTube, sorry. Onra, welcome back to the Build Show. So today, we might actually get to build a PC. Good looking board, and now also looks like a new one. Yes, it is a brand new one. I've already opened it and established that it was brand new and confirmed it. Checked the pins as well, just to be sure, because I didn't want to look like an idiot twice. The other fantastic news, guys, is I'm done with jury duty. Today was the last official day of jury duty. So now I could go back to a normal person's schedule. Ben, that hair keeps getting more fluffy every time I see you. Well, that's because I didn't gel it up today. I literally just said screw it when I woke up this morning and took my shower. I was like, you know what? I'm already getting gray hairs because of jury duty. I'm just going to go right into jury duty like this. Don't even care. So I let it go. I let the hair just flow. Hey, what's up, Jackie? Welcome back to the Build Show. Conway Twitty vibe, I like it. Hey, Roy, your sound alerts have been resolved, by the way. So you now should be able to push sound alerts. Nice, nice, nice. 3 nices in a row from people over on YouTube. All right, so I know you missed him. Guess what the problem was, and this is literally every plugin you have with your stream. You have to authorize it like every. I feel like you have to do this every couple of months. You have to authorize the plugin to make sure it still has access to your Twitch or to your Streamlabs or to something. Something breaks, but nothing changes in the mix. Like, for example, I didn't make any changes to anything, and then the sound alerts just stopped working. Go to find out, I actually have to go re-sign into the sound alerts tool that I'm using, and it reauthorizes permissions to my Twitch channel so that I can send the alerts through. It's frustrating. It shouldn't be like that, but maybe we want to be here. Yeah, right here. This seems right. My point is, it's dumb. I've already authenticated it or authorized it and gave it permission, and I've done that like 4 times now. So every now and then it breaks. And I thought I already went and checked that, and I logged in and authorized it before last stream. And that didn't work, but this time for some reason, when I logged in and authorized it and gave it its permissions again, it worked. So I don't know what to tell you. It's just one of those things. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. Is what it is. It is. John, pushing out the specs for the build. We covered this. So this build was Saturday's build, sorry, because we didn't stream yesterday. We streamed Saturday, and we got to the point where we opened up the motherboard. Was all excited for Emma's build, and we found out that the pins were completely damaged, and it was an open box board. It was missing a bunch of components out of the board or out of the box. So I had Amazon send me a replacement. Got here today because we're obviously not going to use that board, and you can see it's a brand new board. I've already checked the pins, and all the accessories are here in the box. So it doesn't have the warehouse sticker on the side of it as on the side of the box either. So we are good to go, so we can proceed with the build. One of the nice things about this board that I specifically selected is the white accents and the silver on the board. It's going to add a nice accent to the build itself, being white. So without further ado, do you want me to run through the specs again, or should we just pick up where we left off? Because we removed the case fans that were also damaged, funny enough, and we installed new thermal take fans in the case that we were going to do anyway. We have reverse blades for intake on the side, and then a regular on the rear, and we prepped that at least last stream so that we'd reduce some of the time here. Does anyone know if there is a way to stream multiple platforms on OBS if you want to? Yes. So I use Streamlabs OBS. That allows me to stream to multiple platforms. I don't know if you could do it in OBS. I don't know. I know that you can pay for a service. I think it's called Restream, which basically you're streaming from your OBS to Restream, and then Restream, which is a paid service, will allow you to stream to multiple platforms. And a nice benefit there is you're not using the resources from your OBS to stream to multiple platforms. It's only streaming to one place, and then Restream's resources are being used to duplicate it out to multiple platforms. The problem with that is I found issues while doing that, because I tried that. Excuse me. I had issues with chat. So some people would chat, say, for example, on Kick or Twitch, and it wouldn't show up in the Restream chat, which is a multi-stream chat, and it was just causing issues with chat. I don't know why it wasn't working. I used it for about a month, played around with it, had to have multiple chat windows open, and it just got annoying, and I just stopped it. So I gave up on that. I went back to Streamlabs, and I use Streamlabs, and I stream directly to the platforms, multiple platforms from Streamlabs. Get on with it. Okay, we're gonna just get on with it. But if you don't recall, really quick, just to recap, it's an Intel i5 12600KF, Thermalright LGA contact frame, Thermalright Frozen Note 240mm, but it's actually an Aqua Elite, not a Frozen Note, in white. The Gigabyte B760M motherboard that we were waiting for, it's DDR4 motherboard, 32 gigs of DDR4, 3200 MHz CL16 RAM, which is the Pinnacle Timetech RAM. And then we have a 2TB NVMe Gen 4 SSD, which is a Team Group MP44, and an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060, which is an MSI Ventus card, as well as about a 750 watt thermal take, 80 plus gold power supply, and then this dual chamber case, along with some additional fans that we're going to add at the bottom, which are going to be reversed blades. So let's go. I'm going to move the case out of the way, or just slide it over, that we can get the focus on the motherboard, the CPU, the RAM, and the contact frame. We're going to cover up Steve the Stain while doing so. Yes, Streamlabs does cost money, unfortunately. Yes, you will have to spend money if you want to use a tool to stream it to multi-platforms, unless you can find a way to do it through OBS that I'm not aware of. This was the easiest way to do it that I found, which reduced the amount of time that I was spending screwing around with the tools to get everything to work. That's one thing I don't like doing, is spending a lot of time on tools now, trying to get everything to work. I just want everything to work, and even so, Streamlabs does weird stuff when I have multiple cameras, multiple microphones, and then multiple softwares. For example, I use the whatchamacallit tool, the XSplit, I think it is, software, as my green screen, and that wreaks havoc sometimes on the cameras and confuses everything. So, you know, just normal stuff. But reducing or minimizing all of that is nice. Alright, so let's drop this CPU into the socket here. Again, this is the i5 12600KF. And then we are going to remove the stock brackets and replace it with the contact frame here. The Thermalright contact frame. It reminds me, I need my... Poor Steve. How much is it monthly? I don't remember. Unfortunately, one thing I don't remember. Okay, so now that we have the CPU installed along with its contact frame, we can go ahead and install our RAM, which is 32 gigs, two 16 gigabyte sticks, DDR4 3200 CL16. And then next, we're going to install our 2TB M.2 NVMe SSD, which is an MP44 by Team Group. What's up, Ant-Man? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Prowler, welcome back to the Build Show. John, Google multi-stream. ATM. I've actually never used it. No idea what it is. Atom? I think I'm saying it right. And here is our 2TB MP44 going in. nice toolless install. Okay, so now that that's completed, we're going to go ahead and make sure all the peels are peeled off here, and then we'll get the CPU cooler hardware added. There we are. Now we're gaming. Okay, get our cooler mounting brackets out, and then we'll get those added pretty quickly, and then we'll be able to just drop this into the case and start getting crazy. Should be pretty easy. Hey, what's up, other Mike? Yeah, because we have like 18 mics in this community now. Mike is the popular name in the community, at least. Set this AIO over here. Get our hardware out. How many builds am I doing? I'm just going to be doing this one tonight. We do have 2 other builds waiting on parts, so later this week we will have a couple more builds. And now that I'm out of jury duty, we should be able to tackle things at a regular pace again. All right, so now that those are installed, I'm not going to put the blue pegs on. The blue pegs will just fall off as we move the case around. Max is actually down here sleeping. He had his nice dinner and was overly joyful when Dad came home from jury duty. So he was super excited, burnt off a lot of energy throwing a ball around, and then he had his dinner, and now he's just been sitting here napping next to me as I worked my way through to start up the stream. So we're doing pretty good. Max is too. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and move the motherboard over. We're gonna zoom out a bit, and then we'll drop this board into the case, get that mounted up. I think that's good. If I'm on the edge, is that good? Yeah, it's fine. All right, so let's really, we could just drop this board in here, I think. Now, one thing that I was saying earlier, or yesterday, or Saturday, sorry, I keep thinking it's yesterday, is that the board's going to hang off a bit. We already knew that. Some of these smaller micro ATX cases will provide a bracket that kind of hangs off and then provides support. This one does not. So, and go figure. Tight around the fan. All the studs are already lined up for us. I don't remember if I did that on Saturday or not, or if they were already there. Pretty sure they were already there. But the board hangs off a little bit. I did read that about this particular case, and I was hemming and hawing on it quite a bit. Finally decided to do it. is LTT store screwdriver. Still probably one of my favorite screwdrivers or drivers. Very satisfying to use. Smooth. Allows you to feel the torque very nicely. Magnetic tip is very powerful, which is nice and handy. Very interesting. I would have expected this board to have 2 RGB headers, but it has everything else, just the one header, so we'll might have to figure something out with that. Get our CPU fan up here, and then our system fan 2 here, fan 3, system fan 1 up here. I don't see a pump header. So we'll probably use system fan 1 for the pump and CPU fan for the fans, CPU fans, radiator fans, and then system fans here. Probably what we'll do. Just trying to plan it all out. One more screw. We get our USB-C, USB 3 here. And that's really the only stuff that we'll need on this side. I'm considering running the cable down at the bottom and then I'm back up, only because I want to avoid as many cables as possible from the side here. I don't know, we'll have to play around with that. Let's see here. Is that supposed to be a 6-screw motherboard case? By design, it supports a micro ATX board, but it doesn't have the 2 screws on the side towards the front of the case. There is no bracket or support there. I'm gonna go watch some YouTube. Might be back. All right, John. Sorry, I was playing a game. That board, low-key, really good looking. Yeah, it's not a bad looking board. And, you know, it's kind of why I wanted it for the white build, so now you can see why I wanted it. Yeah. Was going to, but then I remembered, well, let's go ahead and just do that point. Alright, so we've got our USB 3.0 over here. I've got to somehow run this HD audio connector over there. Tight fit, not gonna lie. It's tight fit on the bottom slot down here. But all of those connectors are in. So the only thing we'll have to deal with is the bottom fans down here, which technically there aren't even... Are there even mounting holes here for these? Kind of. Yeah. Go ahead and run our EPS cable and our 24 pin, and then we'll put our bottom fans in, get those routed, and from there we can put our AIO in. Sound good? Hey, what's up, Grand? Welcome back to the Bell Show. You want a multi-stream, join Atom. Easy to use in OBS. Nice. Yeah, I figured there has to be some sort of solution now. Like, I was having multi-stream crises way back when, you know, all streaming was newer, so I found Streamlabs was the easiest for me. Maybe it's not the same or the right solution today. I haven't looked. It's been a long time. It's been a long time since I've had to look. We'll have to somehow get the pump plugged in up there. It'll be an interesting scenario. Does anybody want to become the official what do you call these? Official cable comer of Empower? I hate doing cable combs. What the hell are you doing? I have to put the fourth on there, or actually a little bit. Clear. It's a great stream and a community here. Oh, thank you, Grand. Nothing much. Was scrolling through YouTube and saw this live PC build. Makes me happy, so here I am. Well, welcome back to the build show, Uncle Bama. If you like PC building, that's pretty much all we do here. Nice, Stephanie got a sub for me. Well, thank you for the sub. I don't know why I have not received the notification in Streamlabs telling me that you have subbed. I apologize if I have not said thank you for subbing. And that goes for anybody else, because it's not showing me in the mini feed YouTube subs. But Noah, Jesse, Carter, and AA Ron over on Facebook, thank you for the likes. All right, so we've got our cables, our extensions installed. We've got our 24-pin and our 8-pin EPS. Those are both installed. We've got all of our front panels. I think I'm going to try to get the bottom fans that are reverse blades installed, and then we'll mount our AIO. So we've got two more Thermalbright TLC12 RWS V2s. These are reverse blades. We'll put them on the bottom as intake and somehow run the cables to the back, because this little hole down here, which runs all the cables underneath the board to the back of the case, is very full. We're not going to be able to get those cables through there. We'll have to run it off to the side somehow, as clean as possible. Be right back. Gotta bring out the garbage. Our trash day is Thursday night. Well, trash day is Friday, so Thursday night our trash goes out. If anybody wants to go dumpster diving. I promise I'm not throwing any good computer parts away. I'd rather just give those away to people. Right? I'm building. You want to come see me build? Sorry guys, there's a little mess over here that is, I guess, calling my name. We say hi. And she likes to play with the microphone too. Go back to this is Empower. Mama Empower. Okay, so where did we leave off? We left off installing the bottom fans, which is going to be interesting. Let's see here. Do you know what is the best airflow case around right now? I really like the Fantex cases, and I know Montech has a couple of really cool cases, like for example the why am I drawing a massive blank on the case? One that I always talk about too. The Air 903 Max by Montech. That one is one of my favorites. That has really good airflow. Obviously Lian Li has a really good one. NZXT has a couple of good ones. Even though I'm not a big fan of NZXT, but I will still tell you the case is good. Yeah, the Land Cool, I think it's a 217 or something like that. I actually just built a PC for my son to see if he likes PC gaming. Not a wild build, just an X99 with a 1080. Didn't want to go crazy in case he didn't like it. I mean, that's an excellent, very budget-friendly build. I think that was a good choice of parts. Just the upgrade path is probably going to be the most difficult part of that build in the future. But I mean, at that point, you're just upgrading pretty much the whole build other than power supply, case, storage. That's a solid build, because he can pretty much play anything he wants with that, you know, in 1080p. So for the price, not bad. I'm gonna try to do right here cables. I'm gonna do a zip tie in a weird spot down here just to keep these cables from floating out to like the center portion of the case here. So we'll keep it looking a lot cleaner. doesn't have to be ultra tight. Okay. Just to keep it kind of just enough to hold the cables. Like so. Down here. Just keeps the cables snug and then going under here rather than floating out here. Okay, so with that being done, we can move on to the AIO. Which is a Thermalright Aqua Elite V4, I think it is, a V4. Oh, thank you for the sub, Ben. That showed up. Welcome to the build show, Ben. My name is Ben. I kind of like the new Antec Flux in the Leon Lee Landcool 207 digital. Both of those look really good. I can't remember the name. I think it's like the 217, the Landcool 217 by Leon Lee. It's got the two bottom GPU fans as well as the massive front fans. And the 360 millimeter AIO support at the top. It's a very nice case. Oh geez, another Ben. Well, for the record, my full name is Benjamin. Ben Jammin. You know, I jam. Ben's jammin'. Yeah. Not just Ben. My dad's name was Ben. So just routed some of the cables, and now I'm just mounting the radiator to the top of the case. Trying to center it up. We're actually going to have to move it. Trying to center it up to the bottom fans just for the aesthetics here. Typically, you want it pushed all the way back, but because I can't get the back fans that way, and there is a rear fan in this case, I think we can get away with this on the thermals. And it will help us so that we can get our pump plugged into system fan 1, which is by the EPS cable. I'm I'm gonna kill that thing. Got a little fruit fly that's flying around me. It's buzzing me all night. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get that fruit fly. Typically, when you have exhaust on the top, I don't recommend running the filters. So I recommend taking this actually off when it's in its final place. I don't recommend running those because it's exhaust, so it's filtering the exhaust already coming out of the system, which is, there's just no point to that. All it really does is restrict airflow. So I don't recommend running those. And that's the same thing with perforated metal. Unless you have a really dusty environment, I guess. That'd be the only time that I'd recommend maybe running it. Not in your exhaust. Now we just have our pump, our RGB from the block, route. Route the same way. Yeah, I'm going to get it, Mike, don't worry. When it buzzes me, I catch it. Kind of, you know, unsuspecting. I've already swatted at it, so it's kind of suspecting, expecting it. Now it's just taunting me. I don't even know where the fruit fly came from. Okay. That definitely. Glasses. Okay, so with those cables partially ran, we can follow up with mounting this, and then that should give me enough slack to actually plug it in the pump. The other option is just to run the pump at full speed. Nice. And plug it directly into the SATA. But I don't want to do that. I want to be able to control the pump speed from the BIOS. Also, it would give us a warning if the pump fails. Set that up. Where is... I'm just blind. I'm blind as a bat, guys. Pretty numb from all that jury duty, you know? Kind of numbs your brain a little bit. So, go ahead and paste. I'm going to do my standard X. Supposed to. Hey there. Thank you. Now, we'll block this. I've already peeled the peel on the bottom, so we're good to go. I'm going to put the cables to the side. Try to use as much cable. I mean, pump tube. AIO tubing. Try to use it as much as possible so it's not drooping. GPU is going to be hugging the tubes pretty tightly here. That one started. Also, with thermal take, they like to twist, and the actual mounting bracket that attaches to the block likes to twist off. So before you tighten it down, make sure you twist the block into the correct position, that it's secured, that it's not going to pop off on you. I've had those come off before if you're not paying attention, just while it's loose. I'm gonna snug it up a little bit here, make sure it's in the right spot. We should be good. This is a tighter twist here, like that. This one feels funny. It's good. Okay. All right, so with that mounted, we're looking like a gaming PC now. So we got to get our pump plugged in over here by this EPS cable. That's going to be quite the challenge, actually. But we'll get it done. We'll get it done. I don't even know if we have enough cable here. I'm just feeding the cable through, fighting with my fat fingers, trying to get it into position. Kinda got it. Sometimes you should just use surgical pliers. This was actually gifted to me by one of the viewers. I could not locate the right surgical pliers that I was going to use. I had some and then they broke. They gave me these. They work. I just need some longer ones. I was doing it the right way the first time. Sucks. Who would have thought it would be that much trouble just plugging your pump? Okay, so that's done. That's plugged in. Now we just have a bunch of fans on the backside, a GPU to install, a power supply to install, and cable management. Right? What's for dinner? We had hot dogs and stuff. They were Coney dogs that we made. Go ahead and zip tie this up though before we move on to the GPU. Make that look nice and neat. Cables running across the front. The show piece, the show side of the build. You want that nice and neat. Looks so much better. Cleaned up. So much better. Alright, so let's go ahead and drop the GPU in here. Of course, we probably should have busted these out before we put the motherboard in. I don't cut my thumb. And we're going to go ahead and put our RTX 4060 in by MSI. Would have loved to get my hands on a white Gigabyte RTX 4060, but hard to find these days. Like I mentioned, we're going to be moving over to the 5060 here for everything. The website, so that is happening soon. Anything that's using the 4060 is going to become the 5060. What's up, Z? It seems I missed a lot, damn it. Oh, no worries. You're not too far behind. I mean, got the new motherboard in. So we could continue Emma's build from Saturday. Now we're just getting to putting the graphics card in. And then you're just in time for the power supply and cable management. Careful dropping. Yes, carefully dropping the graphics card in. I always use drop the card in as if, you know, we're ruthlessly going to throw it in there with full force. Of course, I'm not doing that. Gently guiding the graphics card into its PCIe slot and then sliding it into its slot and securing it would be the right terminology. Loving this build. I really like small PCs. Yeah, it's turning out to be a really nice, cute. Oops, another peel on the top. Cute little powerhouse. And with the 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply, Emma will be able to upgrade her graphics card later down the road without actually having to upgrade the power supply, so she'll be able to support all the way up to like a 5070, even I'd say a 5070 Ti if she wanted to. you know. So she has lots of options for future upgrades here on this build. Yeah, we don't need that anyway. The question is how do we get the 8-pin to the back of the case? And I think our only route is going to be from here to the side. That's really the only available route that'll fit the cable. So our 8-pin PCIe is probably going to run something like this, which I'm okay with, to be honest. Where's the hole? Can't find the hole. Is Emma in the chat? I don't know. I did tell her that we'd be streaming it today, so she knew that was coming. Okay, now that I got it in the hole, I need to get it out of the hole. Hey, what's up, Kyrell? Welcome back to the build show, sir. How's it going over there? Or should I say up there? Hey, what's up, John? Welcome back. More cable combs. My favorite. Probably outside of cable management, one of the most time-consuming pieces of your PC build if you are using cable combs with your cables and they're not pre-installed. They are time-consuming. I think it was Roy or Kat mentioned I should just have the kids do them. Bit of a stretch. Almost considering like if I went down and out. Yeah, it's about the only option I have. Okay, so now that that's all done, got a few RGB cables to deal with here, and then we can plug in our, or get our power supply plugged in. Oh well. Oh yeah, and then we have those fans too. bottom fans need to get plugged in. Require a zip tie. Sure. Okay, so everything's plugged in for our power supply. So let's get that out and hope it fits, because it's a big boy. When he built my PC, I think there was like 3540 LG chap, welcome to the build show. Lots of people in the stream tonight. Yeah, we had, it comes and goes, it gets busy. I think our Thursday streams are usually the busiest. At least I feel like they are. I don't know if that's actually true. I'd have to go back and look at our analytics. But Thursdays seem to be pretty big. Tuesday night seems to be pretty decent too. For now. But they look great in builds. Let's see here. For shame. I'll wait a few comments here. No heatsink on the M.2, Ben. Yeah, no, there's no heatsink here on this one. Is Emma in the chat? No, Emma does not appear to be in the chat tonight, unless she's just lurking and not typing in the chat. For shame. What kind of snack, John? I was getting a snack. It was my dessert, but Oreos. Oreos do sound actually really good right now. I don't know why, but Oreos sound really good. Oreos look good inside builds? Z? Is that what you're saying? Oreos look good in builds? Alright, so this is a 750 watt 80 plus gold by Thermal Take. It is a Tough Power GF A3 750. These are really nice power supplies, in my opinion. Use them quite a bit. So, because of the size of this case, I'm only going to put in the 24 pin for the motherboard, the 8 pin EPS, and then the 8 pin PCIe, because that's interesting. Almost as if this was previously used, which is more interesting. I can't make this crap up, guys. This power supply was used, even though it still had all the tape and everything on it. At least, I mean, this is not normal. It does not come like this. Missing the screws as well. So this is an open box. Somebody open this up. Looks like we might be missing the 12-volt high power cable. I don't see it in this bundled of joy. Hopefully these are the right cables. But you can't make this up. I'm gonna have to because it's missing half of our cables. We're missing our peripherals. We're missing a 12-volt high power. I'm gonna have to have them send me another one of these power supplies now, just so I can swap the cables out, or I might actually just swap out the whole unit, because half the cables are missing. Clear, this was a open box, and it was supposed to be brand new. Another Amazon special. Alright, we gotta deal with these two. I need these. Yeah, I know. The motherboard was the first problem. Now, today, we're running into the power supply. Supposedly brand new. Not brand new. And I don't know what to tell you guys other than it's an Amazon problem. I've been seeing that more and more, just like everybody keeps mentioning Toasty Bros, and other people are having the same problems. Well, it's new to you. Yeah, it's new to me. Yeah, but for a customer, it's supposed to be new. And I need a complete power supply for a customer's build. Can't send them. If it was my build and those were only the cables that I would be using, I wouldn't complain and be like, yeah, whatever. Don't really care. But in this case, it's a customer's build, and the whole idea of the build is so that they can upgrade in the future, and without those cables, they won't be able to do it. And we need the thermal tape cables. So, fortunately, I will have to have Amazon send me a replacement with the correct cables. I'm just going to clean these up because, well, a little insane down here. Also makes installing your power supply a lot easier in this case if you do the cable management first. Other cables. power supply doesn't burn out the motherboard and cook the CPU and fry the graphics card. We're gonna roll some dice. Rob, or John, let me change the RQ. If you buy new, there's a chance you get open box. Yes, that is correct. As of right now, with Amazon, it seems like there's a lot of open box products being shipped instead of new, when you had purchased new. That has been an ongoing problem, and that is two of the components out of this build that we experienced it. Fortunate. What do you say? What do we call it? We call that not cool. It at least has all the system cables so that we could get this fired up. That's a plus. I just these are dusty cables. Like I don't even trust that these are the cables that came from this power supply. But I guess we're gonna find out. They look like Thermaltake power supply cables. For the record, they look like Thermaltake, and they pinned out on the case itself, or the power supply itself. So we'll see what we want to do here. I want to put the 24 pin, because I'm just going to replace these when we get the new power supply. I'm not going to go crazy with these. I'm gonna place them anyway. Two here. Come on. That stops happening. Once again, this is temporary. Let's see if we blow up something. Does look nice and clean in there though. Alright, I'm going to clean this junk up here, and we'll get it plugged in and fired up and see if we can blow something out. Anybody want to start any bets on if we blow something up? There's a few people in chat that would do that. People management is not the most annoying part about building PCs. Is the most. Not is not, is the most. I agree with that. I mean, I could spend more time on that, make that look nicer, but with the cable extensions and the smaller case, it gets difficult. Plus, the fact that I'm planning on pulling the power supply back out and replacing it when we get the new one in, because that sent open box as new. Pathetic. I'm gonna be doing that anyway. No point on spending the time right now, you know. Okay. Let's plug it in and fire it up. Shall we? But for the record, you can't make this crap up. You can't order a power supply and a motherboard or pretty much a whole build on Amazon and only get a percentage of the build actually new components. Hold on, I'll adjust the camera. Can't make it up. Nope. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're turning the other way. I don't know why. Thank you. Now down. Thank you. That is originally what I asked you to do. Okay. There we go. So we just had a nice look at my gut. All right. Who wants to do the honors? Unless Emma's actually here in the chat. Oh, hi, Ben. Yeah. Hey, that's me. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. Someone's gonna get fired. Yeah, the camera guy. Who's the camera guy in here? I don't even know his name. He's a new hire. Camera guy Bob, we'll call him. Let's go. Nice little pop, fizz. I mean, you might see some fireworks. Maybe. I think we're a little over the top. Let's adjust the camera one more time. Drop it down one more notch. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Center it up a little bit. Center it up. There we go. A little better. Little more better. All right, who's ready? You guys ready? You guys ready to push this button? Fire it up. See if it explodes, or if it survives. All right, here we go. 3, 2. Yeah, the guy from Amazon needs to be fired. 1. Yeah, fuck it. You know, we can't make this crap up. I guess I have to start checking all the parts before the streams to make sure they're not open boxes. Especially if I order from Amazon. But the power supply appears to be dead. So 99% sure it's power supply. Unless I got tripped somewhere. Which would mean I wouldn't have power on my monitor. And there's power to that. And I probably wouldn't have power to that monitor. So I know there's power. I'm going to say it's definitely the power supply. I'm not even going to check. Well, we could troubleshoot it. I do have one of these guys. Go to the top down and let's see what it's like testing a power supply. Should have done this before I put it in the build. Probably. Ugh. But I'm 99% sure it's the power supply. The only sus component left that I was sus about since the beginning. All that I can tell you is that Amazon's not going to have a very pleasant conversation with me because this keeps happening and it's becoming frustrating. Yes, this is supposed to be a new power supply, but it showed up, guess what? Open box. Yeah, let me just throw my tester too. Why not? Completely dead. Nothing. Oops. Yeah, it's supposed to be here, right? I'll get another power cord just to be... Oh, fuck it, we... Nothing. Zip. Zero power. Really cool about this tester is that it has a 12-volt high power connector tester as well. It's nice. Yeah, I've got extra PS power supplies. I don't know. Let's see if I have 750. Got 850s. 850 watts. And those are for the two next builds coming up. Okay, I've got an 850 watt Sagittap here. Really don't want to use that in this build because I've already got it set for this build. Hey, what's up, Active? New. Welcome to the Build Show. Make sure you subscribe if you like watching Ben receive open box, but supposed to be new parts from Amazon for builds. And then we can go through this madness twice now on this build. Power supply was open box, but it was supposed to be new. Motherboard was open box, but it was supposed to be new. We've already got the replacement motherboard. Got to the power supply, opened that up, and lo and behold, it's not new. And does not work. So, we're going to have to fire this one up on the next build show. And I'm going to give Amazon a very unpleasant phone call. Because I am sick and tired of these problems. Hey, what's up, Michael? Thank you for the like over there on the Facebook and the share. Appreciate you. This is just stupid. 2 parts in one build, same problem. I promise. I could share my screen over there and show you my Amazon orders. They're new. They're not open box by mistake. They are brand new parts that I ordered. That was you? Oh, thank you, Mike. I have a brand new. You have brand new everything over there. No, I need to go through the route because I made the purchase from the funds for this build. And the serial numbers need to be tracked. This needs to go back. I need to get a replacement. Got to go put it in. It's unfortunately the stupid crap you have to deal with when you're tracking your serial numbers for everything now. And you have to track serial numbers now because I've had issues with that in the past where somebody's trying to return something that is not something I ordered or put in their build. And they're trying to get a refund for it. So, stuff you got to do. Hey, what's up, David Patrick? Welcome to the Build Show. Those CPU coolers are coming in useful for me. Thanks again. Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for popping in and hanging out for the build. Even though this build was very, I guess there's climatic, but it sucks. So, I'm not going to use this because I got that for the next build. I'm going to make Amazon fix this. Well, because I have a business account, I can actually get on the phone with them right now. It's just today, right now, you're probably going to talk to somebody from another country versus tomorrow morning, I'll call and probably talk to somebody that speaks fluent English as their native language. So that would be the difference. But I could call them tonight. I just don't want to. This is bad juju. It is. It's very bad juju. This is a terrible experience from Amazon. So thanks, Amazon, for screwing me yet again on this build. We'll see what else they can screw me on. I'm going to go through all the parts that I have that just showed up for the next builds. See if we got any other open box. I think there's 1 or 2 motherboards that I ordered that were refurbished because of inventory issues. They just weren't going to get here until like middle of June, and I was like, okay. And I've used these refurbished boards before, so. And I warranty them for 2 years as it is, so if it goes, then I replace it. Hey, Ben, what's better for gaming, a 7600X 3D or a 9600X? For gaming, probably the X3D, the 7600X 3D. Probably has a jump over the 9600X. Ben, was all that ordered at the same time? Yes. If so, probably the same person putting all that junk together? More than likely, yes. And they were probably all in the same box. And I just don't remember. I wouldn't even test anything that comes used anymore. It's 100% a POS. That's why it's returned apparently. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to write on this box as well. This thing does not work, or, you know, junk, trash, whatever. I'm going to write something all over the box so that they can't reuse it. It's dead, Jim? Yeah, it's dead. Not the builder this time. I tell him to go to the top of the building and well, I can't really go there. Yeah, I appreciate the offer, Jesse, but I'm going to go through the Amazon route and get the right power supply for the right order with the right serial numbers matching now. Not for this one. I'll update it It's just a pain in the butt. Prowler. That reason I quit order from Amazon, first take forever to ship Norway. No, nor second, when package was missing, it'd take forever to get money back and or replacement, and God forbid returning things. Yes. Well, thankfully with a business account, returns are super easy, so I don't have to really give them any explanation other than, hey, this doesn't work, or hey, this is the wrong item, and then they just send me out another one. It's super easy, and usually it's here within a day or two. So, like, for example, the motherboard. Saturday, we found that it was, jacked up. They sent over a brand new motherboard. Thankfully, it was brand new, and it showed up on Monday. So, Sunday to Monday, or Saturday to Monday. Saturday night, mind you. So, technically, it was almost Sunday when I placed that order. So, it was pretty quick turnaround to get the replacement here. And I don't have to return this first with my business account. I can receive the new item and then return this later within 30 days. So I have like a 30-day, what do you call it? I've got a 30-day net 30 or whatever you call it, the business terms for it as well on top of that. So the returns, I have 30 days. On top of that, I could order parts and sit on them for 30 days before I have to pay for it. So that is the process I'm going to go in for this replacement. Window. Yeah, window. Package. It is frustrating, though. I'm not going to lie. This is very frustrating. Oh yeah, I was going to show you that this guy has a 12-volt high-power connector on it, as well as your EPS, Molex, and I think SATA's on the side somewhere. Oh yeah, SATA's there. As well as your 24-pin. So this thermal take tester actually tests pretty much everything, and the digital display gives you a lot more information than your basic power supply testers. So it's a lot. It's a really nice power supply tester. Yeah, the 7600X3D is a good CPU for gaming. Especially after 2 parts, yeah. Especially after 2 parts, this is frustrating. So, go ahead and take this out. May as well. Just take it out. Box it up. I should have known better. I'm just going to look at all the parts now. Before the streams, Anything open box, I'm not even going to accept. I'm just going to send it back. And if it keeps happening, I'm just going to stop ordering from Amazon. Sadly, Amazon shipping side does not operate at profit like Disneyland. Yeah. But there's the build without the power supply. I could pop a power supply in and show you guys what the build looks like, I guess, if you really want. You guys want me to pop that 850 in there and show you guys what the build looks like? At least so we can see that everything else works. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that. Up to you, Ben? Yeah, we'll do it. Want Emma to at least see the build running. So all we need is a 24 pin, an EPS, and a PCIe. Very simple. Simple. Kind of happy this didn't happen to John's build. Things that we ordered, you know? Because that would have been a cluster to have to deal with all that. Because other people ordered it, and then I'd have to tell them to return it, and then I'd have to do the process of the return. It would have been fun. I'm just going to put 2 screws in here. Yeah, fucking all 4 of them. Okay. Weird. Where's the hole? I'm this confident. Casey, welcome back to the build show. Made a 15-year-old very upset. Not my fault, but an ASRock motherboard showed up DOA. Ah. Seems like it's been happening. Jesse, I have a 7600 X3D as well. And it's only a 2 to 4 FPS away from a 7800 X3D. That's power. Let's see what the thing looks like. All right, here we go. Three, two, one with the 850 watt power supply. What's up, Perk? So we are building, if you type in !point build in the chat, you'll get the specs of the build that we are currently building tonight. Of course, the power supply is bad, so we have placed a different power supply in the system just to get it fired up so you guys can see what it looks like. And then I'll get the replacement power supply here within the next couple days. Hey, what's up? What's up, Porgaslar? And also, anybody new that's looking to hang out, you're more than welcome to join the Discord channel. If you are looking to join the Discord channel, that would be !Discord in the chat to receive the link. How late am I? Well, we just finished building it, except for we have a bad power supply on top of the bad motherboard from Saturday. So it's been a cursed build so far. This PC is a budget king. Yeah, pretty much. You got a i5 12600 KF, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte M.2 NVMe Gen 4 SSD. It's a B760 motherboard, RTX 4060, and an Aqua Elite 240mm AIO, built in a micro ATX dual chamber case with some Thermalright reverse blades for the intake, Thermalright fans, and a regular Thermalright fan on the rear. And we've also got some white power supply cable extensions, and it's supposed to be a 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply in the back, which is going to make future upgrades for a bigger graphics card later down the road much easier. The power supply was bad, so I am going to have to replace that and get a replacement power supply before we call this build done. Obviously, we still have to do the BIOS updates, Windows drivers, and all that stuff. But at least with this power supply in there temporarily, I could get all that done and swap out the power supply. So it'll save time, and I could show you guys what it looks like. But there's the build right there. It did post, so we got to the BIOS already. It's a nice, pretty white themed build. Oops, sorry about the shaky camera. Every time I move my mic, it bounces that camera over there. I got to figure out a different setup for that. Wow, so bad board, bad case fan, and bad power. Technically, yeah, bad case fan, but we were going to replace those anyway. So yeah, this has been a very cursed build. Mostly Amazon's doing, and they're incapable of sending over new parts when you order new parts. Instead, they send you open box for new. So the 4060 is a good choice. Where games are headed, I would have saved up just a bit more and went with the 5070. Yeah, this was ordered from the website, so we have a website where people can order builds, or you can even submit a custom build request, and we can build out a custom build for you. But this was ordered from the website, from the pre-build section where you can customize some of the components, and this was what was selected. If you had to go with the new parts for the customer, but go with the 3070 every day over the 4060, yes, the problem is the RTX 3070, finding those new is difficult. Because we're supposed to be building with new parts on these builds, right? So I can't go with a refurb card. I try not to go with a refurb card, so unfortunately 3070s new don't exist, at least within a reasonable price. But yeah, if I was building for a buddy and he's like, hey, give me the most bang for my buck, I'd probably go with a 3070. But then you also have the argument of the DLSS. So what's the DLSS performance on the 4060 over the 3070 when most titles are starting to lean towards DLSS support? NVIDIA keeps making the useless 3060s. I know, yeah, I've pretty much stopped building with the 3060 now. I think there's still a couple of builds that have them on the website, but this week we are ramping hardcore on the website, so we should have the new website launched with all new builds and everything. Did you find another PSU? Jesse, I ended up just putting that 850 in here temporarily. I am going to still get the 750 and swap it out, but the 850 is in here, got it fired up, and at least this way I can go through, install Windows, do the BIOS updates, get the drivers done, get all of that done while we're waiting for the new part to come in. So it allows me to keep working on it. He likes to sleep at night. Yes, I do. Right on. Emma finally loved this one. Yeah. Yeah, I think Emma's going to enjoy this build. It's a very pretty build. The only thing different that I wanted to do for this build was get one of the white Gigabyte RTX 4060s. They just don't exist within a reasonable price, unfortunately. And my other option was to locate a 5060, but again, I could not find a white 5060 because I was thinking about trying to get a 5060 for the build instead of the 4060. It's been a week. No more driver timeouts. That's good. That's good, Steve. Good news. What did you do? What was your last change to help solve that, Steve? What about the 3060 12 gig? It's still a good card, I think, but it's just for new builds that I'm doing, everybody's looking for me to just do the new hardware unless somebody specifically says, hey, I got like $650, $700 and, you know, I'm good with a 3060 and I want more CPU performance. You know, we might be able to hook them up with like an i7 12700K or something, or a 13700K. Something like that. Or an AMD Ryzen 7 7700X bundle from Micro Center with an RTX 3060 in that 750 range. Something like that, you know. That type of scenario where graphics isn't as important as CPU and RAM and storage, maybe. But 3060 is still a capable card. It's just, it's starting to show its age on newer titles. As more and more titles start supporting DLSS, you can see the 3060 starting to lose its ground. But in comparison, I think, I don't know. 3070, I think, would have been a better option if it was a buddy's build and I was trying to get them the best bang for their buck. That is correct. Or the 6700 XT. I hate that the 6700 XT loses to the 3070, but has the 12 gig VRAM. Makes it hard to choose one. Yeah, it does. For flips, I think as you see more titles use more VRAM, the 6700 XT might start slowly gaining on the 3070. So I think the 6700 XT will age better than the 3070. That's just my opinion. What do you think about the 32 gigs of VRAM starting, or 32 gigs of RAM starting to be the standard? I think that is true. So most of my builds will have 32 gigs going forward. Like this one, for example, has 32 gigs. But yeah, 32 gigs is pretty much the standard now. 16 is like the absolute bare minimum for a gaming PC today. If you look at Windows running, Windows 11, with all of its latest updates and feature packs, it's using like 9 to 10 gigs of RAM just at an idle. So it's only leaving a few gigs for gaming if you have 16. And what that will do is cause more read-writes back and forth from your SSD to your RAM. It'll slow down your load times for your games. I don't necessarily think it's going to severely impact performance, but definitely load times, and it puts more read-writes on your SSD when you have 16. You can't even run Windows 11. The mighty mouse PC. I like it. The mighty mouse PC. Yeah, it's a cute little build. 5700 XT, 1080 Ti, 3060 performance for a lot less money. Yeah. 5700 XT and the 1080 Ti cards are still great 1080p value cards in my opinion. 5700 XT actually can run some 1440p as well. I have a very de-bloated Windows 11 install because I hate Microsoft crap. Now I can understand that. I can understand that perk. You know, a lot of people that run light versions of Windows, which is the unbloated version. Try 19.9 gigabytes just watching vids. Yeah. I remember when 8 gigabytes was the norm for gaming PCs. Yes, that was the standard was 8 gigabytes. That was about 4 or 5 years ago now. 8 gigabytes was the minimum. And then 16 became the standard shortly, about 5 years ago. And now it's 32. The 32, I believe, is pretty much the standard now. You could get away with 16 still. It's just, oof. One thing you'll want to upgrade, and it's cheap right now, so you may as well just go to 32. All things considered in the rest of the build, may as well just go to 32. Your laptop from 2010 says it only can take 8 gigs of RAM max, 4 gigs each. Did I roll the dice and try to put 8 gig stick in? No, I think at that point, if you're only able to run 8 gigs, Windows 11 technically won't even run on that. It sounds like DDR3, to be honest. But I'd say, unless you absolutely have to keep that laptop and you need the extra RAM, sure. If not, I would not even invest in it. I'd start looking at a new laptop. It would eventually go to 64. Yeah, gaming minimums would probably get to 64. I would suspect in the next 4 to 5 years. I'd say anywhere from 3 to 5 years. You bought a Lenovo laptop and got scammed by AMD. How'd you get scammed? Was it like the whole FX 8350? After they stopped updating... Excuse me. After they stop updating Windows 10, I will have to run Linux with Wi-Fi, but no Wi-Fi when I run Windows 10. And Roy, honestly, if you could put a 360mm AIO in that puppy, that might be a good option for a small desk space. I have a very, what do you mean by that, Roy? You mean in this thing, 360? They do make cases similar to this that are a little bit longer that support a 360mm AIO, that are micro ATX still. So that does exist if you wanted to go that route. Time to install nitrous system. You need to spray paint that GPU. It's such nice. I know. I was trying to get a gigabyte, one of the gigabyte, I think it's ice or white, one of the white gigabyte cards, because we have a gigabyte motherboard in there. And you just couldn't find one within a reasonable price or within, that would get here within a reasonable time. This was before I knew I was going to be replacing both the motherboard and the power supply in the build from new, quote-unquote, new components, which showed up open box. Thank you for the follow, Perk, over there on the Twitch side. And Guy, over on Facebook, thank you for the like. Honestly, I'm huge into the SFF world. My current PC build is a Dan A4 H2011. Oh. 11L fits 280mm AIO, 32 or 323mm for the GPU. That's pretty good size. You could pretty much fit. You could definitely fit a 5070 Ti in there, it sounds like, and maybe a 5080. The Last of Us 2 will use 22 gigs of system RAM. Holy smokes. Yeah, that's going to be a little crazy. Cray. Oh, Steve, you said power settings in Windows I set for the balance, but that was the last thing you changed? Yeah, I remember you talking about the power settings that you were playing with. And I think I remember us talking about how I have seen AMD not like, especially with Call of Duty, for some reason, if you adjust the power settings, the stability for Call of Duty with AMD just goes right out the window. So I usually recommend people that are generally playing Call of Duty not to change the power settings in Windows and just leave it on balance. And other people have advised to get rid of the, or go to the max power options. But I've seen stability issues with that. Yeah, 64 doesn't seem so weird now. Yeah, it's when you start seeing people with 128 or 96 gigabytes You're like, whoa, high roller. Or like that Threadripper build we did a few weeks ago with 256 gigs of RAM. You can basically install your OS and Call of Duty on the RAM. Thankfully, I don't play Call of Duty. Can't just, I think if you went black fans, it would match perfect. Yeah, black fans would look cool, but they specifically selected the white fans, so. White fans it is. I could take the card out. It is a plastic, the back plate on this card is plastic. So we could take the card out and paint the back plate and the fan shroud. But I would just paint over the MSI and the GeForce unless I mask that off. It just wouldn't be perfect. Hey, Seeker. Seeker the Brony. Saw the Corsair IQ 4000X mid with fans thinking of getting it off Marketplace. Someone wants $120. It saves me some cash. Corsair IQ 4000X mid. Which one is that? I can't remember. Casey, dude, Call of Duty is so unoptimized. It was literally using 100% of Ryzen 5600. Yeah, and most other games won't even get 50% of that Ryzen 5 5600. Boo! It can fit a 5900 FE. That's pretty good. Yeah, I always forget the 5090, sorry. 5090 FE is a pretty short card. Even though I just built with one on that Threadripper build. Having the text on the GPU being white, it kind of matches the motherboard. Yeah, I mean, it blends in with a little bit with the motherboard, but I think the backplate being white would be kind of cool to see. I could pop that off. Pretty sure it's just like 4 screws and quick spray. And here I was going to ask you to play some Warzone with Roy and I. I'd have to I don't have Warzone installed right now, to be honest. I'd have to reinstall it. And I think I've got 98 gigs free on my drive right now. I got a bunch of videos downloaded right now. So I could plan to maybe do some Warzone after I get through those videos. It's a bunch of media that I'm working on for the website. So I've got a lot of extra videos on the storage right now downloaded. All white builds look too plain, so I like the black on it. I do too. I like the accent of the motherboard. The graphics card, I think if the backplate was white, it would look a little better. It would just blend very nicely with the RAM, the block, the CPU water block, and the motherboard VRM heatsink there. I think it would look really nice if it had a white backplate. Call of Duty is a Microsoft game, right? Because that would explain it all. It would explain it. But it's not. Oh, my link disappeared. What happened? What link were you trying to send? Seeker, if you're trying to send me a link, I don't think that's allowed in the YouTube chat, but you can join the Discord and drop a link there in the Discord channel. Just make sure you tag me. And if you need the Discord channel, just type in the chat !Discord, and it will spit out the link to join the Discord channel. Having half the GPU block and half white would look so good. It would match the board. Yeah, that's what I think. Just the back plate on the GPU, which is the plate on the very top, that being white would look pretty dope. And that is plastic, so it's not even cooling anything. There's the link to the Discord, which, you know, a lot of cool, smart, fun people are there too. So it's kind of a cool place to hang out. Well, guys, a mostly successful build, minus the power supply, the motherboard, and the case fan. Emma's build is almost completed. But this is what it will look like when it is done. So at least she can see this and have some hope that there is a light at the end of this tunnel for the build. That it is up and running. We just need to get the right power supply in there. And she should have the ability to come pick this up soon. Emma's build is very upgradable. Yeah, I know. The CPU socket, she can go all the way up to a 14900 K if she wanted to. She could add another 32 gigs of RAM and get up to 64. I'm pretty sure the board has another M.2 slot, so she can add more storage there. Plus there's SATA storage and drive 3.5 and 2.5 cages on the back, so she can add more storage there, as well as the GPU with a 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply allows her to upgrade, as well as the power supply having a 12 volt high power connector. It allows her to go all the way up to a 5070 Ti easily. Probably could squeeze in a 5080 in there, maybe, but cutting it close. But it's a very upgradable build. It's a very nice upgrade path. I think the limiting factors in the build itself is its size, being a micro ATX. But outside of that, everything else is great. $192 gigs with 14th gen CPU. Yeah. Pindian General. All right. I'll take a look at that. Let me see if I have my phone. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, remember the 4000D, which is basically, it looks like that, the 4000D. Just a more modern version of that. Yeah, I think it's a stupid price from Corsair, to be honest. They want almost $200 for this case, and I think the reason why is because of the tariffs. That should be, in my opinion, more like a $109 case. Well, Emma, enjoy. Looks fantastic, yes. But I don't think Emma's in the chat right now, unfortunately. What about 768 gigs of RAM? I mean, I don't see a need for that unless you're doing, like, AI stuff. Or something crazy. I know Threadripper could get up there with the RAM. So, same with servers. Server boards and CPUs. They have some crazy RAM support. Yeah, it's from the official website. That's how much it costs. You said you're getting it for 120 bucks. Yeah, I think $120 is a good price for that. It's actually what I think the case should cost MSRP at 120. I wish I had that much RAM. Yeah, there's no reason to have that much RAM unless you're really doing something that requires it. But that's it for me, guys. The updates here is 750 watt power supply is bad, so we're going to replace that. We have 2 new builds coming, which I have the 850 watt power supply from one of them in this build. Still working on the open loop, so we're making some progress there. What else? I'm done with jury duty, so we're back to a normal person's schedule. We're behind on everything because of jury duty. Thank you, jury duty, for screwing us. We're launching the new website this week. What else? That's about it. That's what we're working on right now. So this week we should have a new website. Should have some updates on this open loop. And then we have a couple more builds that we could start, that we could do later this week. So looking forward to doing some build streams probably Thursday, Friday this week. So we probably won't have a build stream Tuesday or Wednesday, but Thursday, Friday, we should have build streams. And we'll be doing a couple more micro ATX builds. So it'll be pretty cool. So was it guilty or not guilty? Well, the case wasn't really about guilty or not guilty. It was more of, I don't really want to go into too much detail about it, even though I can now that I'm done with jury duty. It was about two individuals that are brothers, and okay, so two brothers that were partners in a business, multiple businesses, that were in a disagreement that were planning to separate from each other, but they were so intertwined in all the businesses that it wasn't clear who actually owned what business, of the multiple businesses that they owned. So they created this ad hoc agreement, and then everybody that was there, including some witnesses, signed at the bottom of this agreement, and that's what they were arguing over. Is that a legally bind document, contract that they have to follow, or is it a document that is just this is what we're working on to have our lawyers draft up an actual agreement to be signed later, which is ultimately what our verdict was that it was a document that was not legally binding, and it was just because there was just so much unclarity in the document that you could not possibly separate businesses based off of a 18-point bullet list of things that were going to happen. It was clear that this was supposed to be expanded on and become an actual document. So unfortunately, that's what it was about. It was very boring. There was a lot of money involved, which is why it took so long. And then there were a lot of documents, and they went through text messages, they went through emails, they went through literally everything trying to prove one way or the other. So 10-year ban for both. 10-year ban for both. Sounds so boring. Yeah. Well, that's the verdict we gave them, and they're probably going to appeal, which means it's going to go to another court, federal level, probably. Yeah, ban both sides for more. I don't know. I can't do it. It's, so everything that we did today, the last 3 weeks now in jury duty, will probably be for nothing, because they will probably appeal, and they will probably get another jury. That's why I'm not allowed on G. No more jury duty. Congratulations. No more jury duty today or tomorrow, but there's a very high possibility that you could get selected again and again and again and again, because it's all random. You don't need it, but nice to know you could. Yeah. I also looked at the RAM I'm getting. I shall be fine. Nice. Yeah, welcome back to the build show, some giant idiot. We're just wrapping up. How do you even get selected? Nobody I know has done it. It's 100% random. So your friend could be selected 5 times where you never selected, because it's 100% random. Very interesting, our justice system. You have to be an honorable, humble Yeah. Well, I got a pretty certificate that says how I am a honorable jury of the court, blah, 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 blah. So it's cool I have a certificate, but 3 weeks of my life I won't get back. That's the cheat. Be a general dick like me. And I never get selected. Oh, man. That's some giant idiot over on Twitch. Can't you ignore jury duty? No. It is required by law to report. So if you don't report, there could be jail time or a fine, depending on how the judge will want to prosecute you. So, no, you can't ignore it. You have to actually respond to it and go do it. I hope I don't get chosen. I'd be so confused. It was pretty easy. You get a letter in the mail, and it says you have to report or fill out the form, and they send you to a website. You just do it all online on the website. And then after you get the form filled out, to prove that whether or not you can or cannot do it, basically it's just asking questions about your life and if you have a death in the family right now, or if you're a mother that's breastfeeding or something like that. You know, they rule you out there if you're a mother that's breastfeeding. So you can always just say, hey, I'm a mother breastfeeding, and see what they say. But once you fill out that form, then they'll filter you in to give you a report date, a date to report at the location that you need to report to. And all you got to do is drive to that location and report at the right time. And then from there, you just follow the instructions. It's pretty easy. It's not very difficult. It's just you get put on a case like I got put on. It can go for 3 weeks. And they can go longer than that, too, if they're bigger. If you're in Florida, they summons you, call you in a room, judge you, and you're in or out. That's kind of what happened to me, except for I got sucked in. And I tried to give them every reason why I should not be on that jury. Yes, if you're Canadian, you do not have jury duty that I'm aware of. I don't know what Canadians, Canada's justice system is like. I'm not familiar with it, to be honest. I know it's kind of similar in a way, but they have their own thing, their own stuff. So you weren't annoying enough. I tried to be really annoying. I tried to give them facial expressions that I was not happy to be there. If I could turn back time, I would have loved to be part of Johnny Depp and Amber. Oh, man. I don't think I want to be part of that, because you'd be stuck in their litigation crap for weeks, months. Felt like that went on for like a month, didn't it? Or longer? I would not want to be part of that. Wait, how did you get summons then, Ben? Aren't you in Canada? No, I'm not in Canada. I'm in Michigan. But to your point, it's very close to Canada. A year, right? I don't know. I don't know the full length of that case. I honestly didn't follow it, so I have no idea. I just guessed a month. But if it went on a year, that's insane. I would not be part of that jury. I think I would have lost my mind. Yeah, I don't think I could sit there and listen to them. Well, were they guilty? Right, I've already gone through this, man. I've gone through the explanation, so I'm not going through it again. I'll tell you in Discord sometime. You were making dinner? All right, so two brothers. Two brothers own businesses. They were butting heads. They were trying to get out of the partnership and separate the assets, aka the businesses and other assets. And they wrote down a bunch of bullets titled agreement, and then they signed it, and a bunch of witnesses signed it, and unfortunately, by law, an agreement has to be clear, and the agreement, there was no way that you could separate these assets using this agreement. There's just too much gray area on everything. So our verdict was that that was not a binding contract, which forces them to basically go and find out who owns what by but it sounds like they're going to appeal and go back to court. So everything we did with this last 3 weeks is just going to be thrown out the window anyway. But there was a lot of money involved with a lot of assets, and that is why it took so long, because every witness, each attorney had 4 hours to testify with the witness, which is basically asking the witness questions. And they used all 4 hours for every witness, and there were several witnesses. And that's 4 hours per attorney, and there's 2 attorneys, 1 for each side. And then they went through a bunch of evidence, which is text messages, emails, documents, you name it. We went through it. We went through basically their entire lives for the last 4 or 5 years. Some of the stuff we didn't want to know or didn't need to know. And it was just repetitive, very repetitive. Especially with the witnesses, because they'd go through the same questions, the same evidence with every witness over and over and over and over and over. That was probably the most repetitive, annoying part of it. No, that wasn't the type. That wasn't this type of case, unfortunately. Some countries could try you over and over. Yeah. If you could turn back time, I would have. Oh yeah, no. Does this type of trial need all 12 to agree? So we needed 6 out of 8. So we had 8 jurors total, including myself, and we needed 6 to agree. Total of 6 of 8. And all 8 agreed on the same thing, so we didn't even have that problem. We basically, once we got back to discuss our verdicts, everybody was basically on the same page, so it was pretty clear what we agreed on was right. So well, like I said, you know, Friday I was fighting the intrusive thought of throwing the water bottle at the attorney who was asking literally the same question that he asked the last, what is it, 8 days or the last couple weeks. It's the same question, and I'm going to lose my mind, and I'm holding a water bottle, and all it would take me is stand up, say, shut up, and throw the water bottle at him. It was... That thought went through my mind quite a bit on Friday, not gonna lie. Oh, shut up! And just throw the water bottle at him. Oh yeah, get this. The number of objections through this case was almost 300 objections, which is one of the attorneys saying one thing, and then the other attorney standing up saying, objection. Objection. Literally every other sentence was an objection. It was almost 300 objections in the case, which is insane. We had time to ask the judge afterwards. We're like, so is that like a record of objections? He said it was the highest number of objections he's ever had in a case before. So. And he's been doing it for 25 years. Or 20-something years. I think it's 25. 24 or 25 years. I learned something. I learned something too. And that is, next time you get called to jury duty, you do everything you can to get out of that jury duty. As much as I love democracy and our justice system, that sucked for 3 weeks. The only thing I didn't tell them is that I own a business and I am a sole proprietor running it, meaning 3 weeks of not running my business means 3 weeks of not getting paid. Other than the $20 a day they give you from jury duty. Barely covers lunch and gas. No, he was actually really into it. You know, it was an interesting case for him. So, you could tell we were all very over this case at the end of last week. We were all just ready to say, "Come on, guys, we're done." So, with that being said, guys, we will not have jury duty going forward this week. We are done. So we can move on with the normal person schedule, like I was saying. And just to recap on the schedule, Thursday and Friday we'll have some builds that we'll be doing this week. I'll be working on the open loop. We'll be launching the new website this week, probably towards the end of the week. So a lot of new exciting things coming up here for us. Looking forward to getting all this done, because this has been just delayed the last couple weeks. The website, for example, and this open loop build that I'm working on. I just haven't had the mental capacity to sit here and work on anything. So what's the specs, Ben? Just tuning in. Specs are in the chat there. Thank you, some giant idiot. But it was an i5-12600KF, 32 gigs of RAM, a B760 motherboard with an RTX 4060, a 2TB SSD, a Aqua Elite, not Frozen Note. I don't know how I messed that up. It was a typo. 240 millimeter AIO with a 750 watt 80 plus power supply, and dual chamber white micro ATX case with thermal right fans and some white sleeve cables. They want people who can be quiet and not speak during it, so be loud. We were all getting antsy at the end of that. Or just eat Taco Bell and crap your pants on. No, I won't do that. That would be mean to the other jurors that also didn't want to be there, you know, so you're sitting next to them. My dog needs to go out. Talk to you later. All right, Steve, we'll see you later. I'm going to bounce as well. So thank you, everybody, for joining us again on the build show. We actually built a PC tonight and discovered we had a bad power supply. But we'll see you guys on Thursday. That'll be the next build show. And until then, you guys have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you on Thursday night. Thank you again for joining us. See you guys.